Welcome to Mastering Local Marketing. This is episode 113. And today we are talking with one of my favorite people. So starting a business is one thing, but growing it into a successful e-commerce brand is another. In this episode of Mastering Local Marketing, we sit down with Allyson Straka, the founder of The Frozen Garden, an e-commerce brand that makes it easy to enjoy smoothies with pre-portioned frozen fruit vegetable packets delivered right to your door. We dig into why she started the business, how it has grown, and which marketing tactics are driving results today. From digital marketing strategies to customer behavior, brand awareness, and customer acquisition, this conversation is packed with real-world insight for any business owner looking to grow. Whether you run a local business, an e-commerce brand, or a service company, you will learn practical ideas you can apply to your own local advertising strategies, digital marketing efforts, and long-term business growth plans. If you want to know what is really working in marketing right now and how to attract more customers without wasting money, this episode's for you. Allyson, welcome to our show. I know we kind of got to know each other a little bit more right around the time you were presenting to Elevate. And quite honestly, I've been watching presentations and pitches for years. And this was your first pitch that you've given to a VC, right?
Yes, that was my very first pitch. I wasn't nervous at all. No, I was terribly nervous.
It was amazing. I was laughing because when you did it, you gave this amazing presentation talking about everything that has gone on and how you've kind of bootstrapped this whole company for a long time. And then at the end, you tell them, this is my first pitch. And they all kind of went, you're kidding me, right? So how did you end up here? How did you end up with the Frozen Garden? And what kind of path was that? How did that look like?
Sure. So my background's actually in software. I worked for various startup software companies after I graduated from IU with a degree in business. Computer information systems was the major. I always loved the startup atmosphere. I loved that all the work that all of us did actually impacted the company on a daily basis, and we were scrappy and we moved fast. So I always liked that small business, having my hands in a little bit of everything. So I always knew that I wanted to eventually start my own business one day. I didn't know when that would happen. I was first introduced to the concept of smoothies 20 years ago by a coworker. And this was when I was like, I still eat a lot of bacon. I mean, I'm not going to lie, but I was not eating healthy whatsoever. But I was like, this is genius. I can blend spinach with other fruits and drink it and at least get all of my nutrients for the day so that like when I have a McDonald's sundae later in the day, it didn't matter. Like at least I got my nutrition. So I had been drinking smoothies every day for many, many years. After I started having kids, I got more into nutrition and real food and what we're putting into our bodies. And after staying at home for a bit with kids, I very quickly learned that a full-time stay-at-home mom was not for me. And I started a nutrition education company called Mindful Nurse, where it was just about teaching people how to get back into their kitchens and making real food from scratch. But my clients would tell me over and over again, I go to the grocery store, I buy all this fresh produce to make smoothies, but it just rots in my fridge. Why don't you open a smoothie bar? And I was like, I don't want to open a smoothie bar. And my dad, who owns several manufacturing companies in Canada, I was talking to him about this one day. And he said, Allyson, if you could get your clients to do just one thing for their health, what would it be? He said, well, drink a green smoothie every day. And he said, well, how do you make that easier for them? And literally that night, the name Frozen Garden came to mind, the idea of doing a frozen smoothie instead of using preservatives for something shelf stable. And it literally started that day, and it was the fall of 2015. So I became a business owner of a perishable food company.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we talk a lot with entrepreneurs. You talk to a lot of them on a daily basis. I talk to a lot of them on a daily basis. And it's always funny because you just never know how you're going to end up in a situation. Things that you thought you were going in a certain direction, and one conversation just triggers a completely different path for where you're heading. And I know we were talking as we were coming in, it's a new year, right? We're at January 22nd of 2026. It's that time, right? So people want to eat healthier. They want to work out. I mean, how has that affected your business right now?
So the new year is our peak. People assume that we're a frozen smoothie, that summer is our peak season. It's actually not. Summer's our slowest season. Our peak season is Q1, the first 3 months of the year. And so here this January, we're already up 70% from December, just because people are now looking for convenient health foods and they're more focused on it. So the first quarter of the year is always our busiest.
you're kind of in a different business than most people. So a lot of people, once you get past the first of the year, it's take a breath, relax, reset. You're actually the complete and polar opposite, where it's go time, right? So you're kind of like in that gym. Everybody gets really busy, and I'm going to change this year, and I'm going to do better, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's interesting. Do you see, I know you're doing a lot of marketing right now, and I know you are probably a little bit more advanced than the average person. You're out there on social and a variety of different platforms, paying for ads, and you're doing A/B testing and all this. What are some of the tools that you're seeing that are really driving the growth? The things that you've dove into, that you really understand, that you can kind of share with others, some of the tips and tricks that you've learned?
Sure. So of course it's changed, right, over time. What the meta algorithm is doing changes, depending on iOS updates and all of that stuff that's happened. But right now, what I'm seeing with the meta algorithm in particular is it wants content. It wants fresh content. It wants you to add fresh content often, where we're not seeing like a single ad last without becoming fatigued for 6+ months. We're seeing it go strong for a couple months, and then Facebook's bored and it wants a new one. So the most success I've been seeing in the last probably 3 to 4 months is just feeding it different creative and kind of letting the algorithm do its thing. I only narrow the audience based on age, because 18-year-olds are not buying our luxury smoothies. It's usually 30 plus. And so that's the only thing that I narrow, as I say 34 plus, and otherwise I let the algorithm do the work. I don't put interest groups. I just let Facebook kind of find it. And I usually give it about 3 or 4 days to see if it starts generating revenue. If it doesn't after 3 or 4 days with a significant daily budget, I turn it off and I turn on a different ad set with different creative and different messaging and see if that takes off. And so I usually have about 3 that are doing well at any given time. And then I'm usually testing 1 or 2 behind that. And once they really kind of, after about a week and they're starting to generate and getting closer to our target CPA, I'll start adding budget and start scaling it.
So you mentioned CPA, and for those that aren't familiar, marketing is full of all kinds of acronyms. What is CPA?
Cost per acquisition. So how much I'm paying per acquisition of a new customer. We do it for a new customer. Because we are a very repeat product, we have a different CPA like that we're willing to pay for a brand new customer versus one of our existing customers.
And you're looking at that probably more long-term value or lifetime value of the customer and coming back. Are there certain platforms? So again, Facebook, Instagram, I don't know if you're doing anything on TikTok. Are there certain platforms that perform better for you than others?
Meta has been, so of course it serves to Facebook and Instagram. Meta has been the best in Google, to be honest. I've tested and played around with TikTok and some other ones, Pinterest, and nothing was able to take off the way Meta does. And now I don't know if that's just because that's what I've been doing for 10 years. Also, our target customer of the middle-aged woman tends to be more on Facebook than TikTok. Our TikTok results have been terrible. Now, I'm not saying that some brands aren't great, but it has not worked for us. So, and Meta still has the largest base than any of them. So you have to assume even people that are like, Facebook is old-fashioned. How old are we that Facebook is old-fashioned? But my target market, which is, the middle-aged woman, we are still on it because our schools are on it. Our sports groups are on it. We have to get on it in order to be able to stay up to date on what's going on. They just canceled school for tomorrow, and I found out on Facebook.
Right. Yeah, I know. It's going to be negative 20 something wind chill tomorrow. So yeah, It should be fun.
Yeah.
So obviously social platforms, Google paid search. I know you have an email database. How's that working for you?
Email's big for us because we are a repeat business. That's our bread and butter, is customers coming back. So email and SMS is very big for us, not only from just our one-off campaigns, but we have some pretty heavy flows going based off of purchase behavior. If we offer both subscriptions and one-time orders. A subscriber is twice as valuable than a person that orders just one-offs and doesn't sign up for subscription. So we are looking to convert those that continue to order one time into a subscription. So we have a whole set of flows. It's all about kind of warming them up to the idea of a subscription and getting them converted into a subscription. So email is not dead by any means. Right now, it's about 30% of our revenue, monthly revenue, comes from email and SMS. Again, I guess I could understand if you're not a product that has a high repeat purchase rate, that maybe email's not your thing, other than maybe warming up someone that signs up on your list. But otherwise, for us, it's our bread and butter.
Now, are you using just like a MailChimp or a Constant Contact, or is there something
Klaviyo.
with a little bit more automations that you're using?
Yeah, Klaviyo. It's kind of like the golden standard when you're a Shopify store. So our e-commerce platform is Shopify, and it tends to do the best. It's expensive. It's pricey every month, but when you see how much it generates, you're like, well, that seems kind of like pennies compared to what it's generating. So I'll deal with the high price tag.
I have to ask, do you still have the chime, the cha-ching that goes off on your phone every time you get an order, or is it beyond that at this point?
We are way beyond that, but I remember that from the early days. And then it started like my whole being was if that chime was going off, I'm like, I got to turn this thing off. But I still check our sales way more than I should, probably 8 times a day.
That's good, though. I mean, you got your finger on the pulse. And I think the reason that you're growing so much is the fact that you're continuing with that you're focused on it. For those that don't check it daily, I mean, are you really working on your business at that point? So, I mean, 8 times a day, I'd probably be in there every hour checking it if I were you.
Yeah, I don't have the app on my phone, but then I just go on the browser and look at, I've tried ways of just, why are you looking at it all day? But I do, mainly because I think I have a technical background. And if there's a lull in orders, I worry that something's wrong with the website. And we have had that. We've had issues with the website and people couldn't check out. So I'm looking to see if there's a bunch of abandoned carts and figuring out why we haven't had an order in 2 hours. This doesn't seem right.
We talked about what works. We've talked about how TikTok really hasn't worked. Is there anything out there that you haven't tried yet? I know one of the things, and again, one of the reasons that we're interviewing you is we've pulled you into the digital marketing competition that I run, and we've got a ton of universities that have signed up to work on your project, and they're all kind of looking for, well, what is it that you haven't done so far? I know one of the things that you outlined was audiences, if you can come up with a new audience. So from a marketing standpoint, what is 1 or 2 things that you're really kind of intrigued to try, or you've maybe just recently heard about that you really don't know anything about? Can you give us any insight there?
You talked about the different audience, and we've always just kind of been here we offer smoothies, who wants them? Versus, and we're very careful. We don't make health claims or any, kind of any of these crazy things that some of these health companies do. We just say we're real food. And so we're very careful of that. But we do think that we are potentially not tapping into a super specific niche that the smoothies just make a ton of sense. So we've kind of uncovered some of these niches naturally. One example is we have a longtime subscription customer who is autistic, and she called one day and I answered the phone and I learned all this, and she hates it when we change our website because then she has to relearn it. It's very hard for her. But she was undernourished because she has texture issues, and she discovered Frozen Garden in the smoothies, and she liked them and could, handle the texture. And for the first time, her doctor said, you're no longer undernourished. And so she just every single week gets a box of smoothies. We've never gone and marketed to autistic people that have texture issues, nor would that ever come to mind. So we have these things that we learn about cancer patients who have issues with eating regular food. We get a lot of that we don't ever go and try and target that super specific niche. And that's something I am really looking to see what the creative minds come up with for the DMC, because I'm not a creative. I am a technical, numbers, data, love data. Spreadsheets are my love language. Coming up with a creative idea is not my thing. So we'd love to see that. Instead of marketing to everyone, many businesses are extremely successful marketing to a very, very small niche. And that's something that we haven't done very well.
So a lot of our audience is kind of small and medium-sized businesses. A lot of people, they want to be where you're at. They want to start something, or maybe they're kind of just getting started, or maybe they just have a local store and they don't really think about how they can sell online. What are some of the tips, tricks, or insights that you can give them as to how to get to where you are today?
I mean, this is probably going to be not a very popular opinion, but I think one of the most important things that someone who's starting needs to work in profit from the very beginning, work in how they're going to pay themselves and work in how they're going to earn money. There's, especially in the food industry, there's so many companies that don't even remotely have the margins to even make it a successful product. They're just hoping they're constantly getting investors and that they'll eventually grow and become a unicorn and someone will buy them even though they're not making money. That is not right. 99% of businesses fail with that idea. The only reason that we are here 10 years later is because I was able to figure out, albeit we stayed small, but I was able to figure out how to make it profitable. And that's the only reason why we survived. I wish I would have done it earlier and not have invested so much of my own money into it. But to be able to start small, keep your overhead as low as possible. If you can do it from home, do it from home. Don't care about getting an office or co-working space. Keep your overhead small and see if you can prove the concept with little investment and prove that it can be profitable. And then you can work on scaling it from there.
All right. So just to wrap up, again, thank you for being with us today. Thank you for being part of the digital marketing competition this year. Where can people find you?
We are at thefrozengarden.com.
Okay.
And we are very excited to be a part of the competition this year. I'm excited to see what the creative minds come up with.
Yeah, you'll be amazed. And for those of you that are listening, you'll be able to see whatever the winning team produces later on this summer, but you can just go to digitalmarketingcompetition.com to see that. But Allyson, I want to say thank you again for being with us today. I want to say thank you to everything that you're doing. I think your product is amazing. I know you sent us some in my family where we were all fighting over it and who was going to get what. So delicious, outstanding stuff. But thank you for being with us today.
Thanks, Matt.
All right. That's the podcast. We are going to wrap up for today. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.